She'd get back. Good evening. I'd like to call to order the Town of Ulysses Planning Board meeting for November 4th, 2025. First order is a roll call of board members.
Jeff McDonald.
Carl
Greg.
Pankowski. Oh, yeah,
Sorry.
keep going. That's good.
Art Greg.
Mo Klein.
Carl Pankowski, chair. For tonight's agenda, we have the following items. Town board member reports. I don't think we'll have any of those. Approval of the October 21st minutes. Privilege of the floor. For old business, we have the following item, review of the draft land use chapter of the comp plan and board member and staff reports. Any changes or modifications to the agenda? All right,
I'll make a motion to approve it. I know that's what you're waiting for.
Gonna wait for you.
Sir, you're over there by
Second.
yourself.
all right. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. No town board members. Has everyone had a chance to review the draft minutes for the October 21st meeting? Any changes or needed modifications?
Nope.
All right, I have a motion to approve the minutes.
Sure.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Privilege of the floor. I don't see anybody online other than Niels and nobody in the room but us. I think we'll just move past that.
Can you remind me who just seconded that motion to approve past minutes?
Oh, Bart,
Thank you.
they're alternating back and forth with Mo.
The next one is Mo does all the first.
All right.
No, just to keep it moving.
Anyway, do I have a motion to close privilege of the floor?
Sure.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Alright. Officially walk through that. Okay, now we're down to one of the real reason we're here. To discuss is needed, the comp or the part of the new comp plan that deals with land use and the future land use map that goes with it. Jeff, you're probably one of the more vocal ones on it. How about we give you a start and then we'll go from there. It's certainly fair game for anybody to chip in, and Niels, if you have comments, we'd certainly welcome them.
So I have a lot of comments, but in general, I would say that I like it. I like the way the development is strung out along the water lines, the housing and the limited future housing in some of the ag areas, which is one of the goals.
Yeah.
I think. There are some places where I think down in the southeast of the town that maybe more of that could be zoned as housing, especially if water down there becomes available. I know Caitlin was looking into that. I do think that as part of this, some of there, I know this is 20 years and it's probably not going to get built out even in 20 years to a lot of this to fill it, but there's some areas that I think where there's really limited commercial in here. I mean, it's all existing. It's almost like the former development districts and limiting that way. I think in some of those adjacent medium density residential areas, there should be kind of an area where commercial can spread into if needed. And I don't know if that's another zone or it just gets rewritten to allow some of that in there.
Well, in the 2019 zoning, actually down there where Crumbs Corners crosses 96 down at the bottom end of 96, that was designated as this OTMU area for like light manufacturing and that sort of stuff.
Well, I think that, we had Sure Save in the liquor store and Kinney's, but there's not really any room in there for anything else to
No,
develop in commercial. And I
because
think,
McGuire's there already
yeah,
and like
you
I think
know,
of that.
there's no reason
Yeah.
why you couldn't go out back.
Well, there
from
is
Sure Save.
one,
And
there is one parcel still. That is in between McGuire's and Sure Save. They, the original owners still own that.
but I think
Okay.
And that's
I just-
commercial.
I just think there could be more there to allow for expansion and
Yeah,
potentially
But-
more businesses.
and behind Sure Steve, I'm not sure where the property line shifts from. You know, what you could potentially develop in what the folks in the summertime,
The
It's the
grassroots, now they,
grassroots owns a big chunk back
Mhm.
there.
yeah, they own all of that. They own that, plus they own on Agar, they own a whole, they own a few hundred
Yeah,
acres.
but it doesn't mean you couldn't zone it to allow commercial if they were, I mean, Grassroots is an event, it's not a physical entity. You know, the
Yeah.
campground is not is a physical entity, but it's a low development thing. And if you were gonna look for spots going up and into the village to expand commercial activity, that would be an area to
Yeah,
potentially
the
do
problem
it.
is going to be to get to that property. You know, you put any type of road in, now you have, it dumps into 96, so. Any type of development, especially if you put like a small strip mall or anything like that, could be a problem
Or
traffic wise.
It's doable though. I mean, it's not impossible. I mean,
Everything is
we
doable.
have,
Yeah.
we're showing, the map is showing a lot of development out, just outside the village, and that traffic is all gonna flow into the village on
Yeah.
existing roads. So, I mean, that's something that's gotta get looked at. But it's not something that this needs to deal with now. You're never gonna have any development if you look at the existing road system and say, well, we can't do it because of the existing
Did you
roads.
look at the 96 corridor?
No.
Okay, well, that was a whole paper about 96 and the development down in there, which was sort of done piecemeal, which unfortunately didn't work out. The hamlet there has that little strip mall right outside, which is really not utilized that much. That could be improved. There's also south of the hamlet, there's some land down there which can be used also. Matter of fact, there's quite a lot of land down there that can be used. And there is water on 96 coming up. So that would be probably the area that anybody, if they're looking, is gonna look in that area.
I don't know if that's true simply because of the population.
Well, yeah,
I mean, you
Yeah.
know, the growth is gonna be at and you can see it in the housing, the way the housing is drawn in on here. The housing is concentrated up at the north end of the town.
oh, are you
So-
talking about housing or are you talking?
I'm talking about commercial, but
Yeah,
most commercial stuff is gonna go where the
Where
housing
the
is.
population is, if
Because
possible,
they're
yeah.
not gonna-
yeah, but I mean, on 96, how far are you from,
Far enough.
Trumansburg, not
Far
that far.
enough.
You could probably walk it. And I mean, there are several commercial buildings down there already. There's
Mhm.
paving company, well, now there's a design company that took over.
Where the Renovus used to be.
Yeah, Renovus, they moved over somewhere. Plus the storage, that old barn was made into storage. So that's a lot of commercial area, and Stick and Stone is down there, which is the
There's not a
CSA.
lot of retail though.
No,
But that's where the strip mall in the hamlet comes in. Nothing is being done there.
Am I gonna get in the car and drive even from Trumansburg to Jacksonville, or am I gonna wanna go to someplace in Trumansburg?
probably Truman's word.
Yeah, I mean,
And you're gonna, you probably
it's-
walk to it.
I don't know that you can. It's that silly real estate thing, location, right?
Mhm.
It's like you're not gonna put a business where it's gonna struggle to attract people, and Jacksonville may work for people who are going up and down 96 already,
Mhm.
but unless you're the dispensary, people probably aren't gonna go out of their way to get to you.
Yeah.
There's too many other options.
It's, yeah.
Well, for me, I mean, I live up in here where I do my shopping is Ithaca. I mean, I do sometimes come up here, but not very often because there's more businesses down there for me to use. If I had to go several different places, that's where I would go. And it's not that far, but
It's supposed to be
Mile.
looking at sustainability,
Yeah.
Right, so, okay,
knocking down the miles.
before I
Yeah.
say anything, what does medium density residential mean?
Let's see.
There's a
The burnt orange, the umber, whatever.
Yeah,
medium density.
Yeah,
Medium density is infill, it's like the little duplex units, apartment units in Lansing, where there's like 4 units, a
Oh,
little cluster.
there you go, Bart.
It's townhouses.
Yes. That's got all the different areas and like how many they're looking at per area and that sort of stuff. There is a section in the chapter that, but each one of those little 2 lines you got there, it covers about 2 pages in the chapter.
So less than 8 dwelling units per acre.
That, that's a lot higher density than anything.
No, it's 8.
There are a couple units, the last week when I drove around, Mayo Road.
Uh-huh,
There is a 5-unit apartment building just as you start in there on the right-hand side.
right,
That would be one that got you up to close to the 8 units per acre.
yeah. So we're talking about making this into California.
Some of that, yeah, that's been, a couple of the comp steering members have really objected to this, housing per acre, because without sewer, unless you've got,
What's the alternative?
yeah,
I mean, the alternative is the development pattern you've got now.
right, and we're chewing up a lot of farmland alongside the roads.
You can't justify doing sewer in the current pattern. It's too expensive.
Yeah.
But if you get density and the costs get spread around in that density,
But density causes other issues too, Jeff.
everything causes, it's not like this is magically gonna develop overnight.
Yeah.
It's just encouraging people into certain patterns to do what the plan is supposedly wants to do. And the big thing, number one thing, right, is preserve agricultural land and preserve agriculture in the town.
Okay,
Well, that's where we did the same thing when I was in New Hampshire, it was the same thing. It was whatever you want to call it, cluster housing or medium density or whatever. It would be like Echo Village, same thing. They own, I don't know, a couple of 100 acres, but everything is situated in like not even 20 acres. Everything else is open and they have a farm there. Which they do grow. I think they have a CSA there also.
Yeah, and I mean, you can do really nice medium density clusters and things, and Nils, I don't know if that got discussed the last round of plan, but I know way back when Supavorty was on the planning board, there was a lot of discussion on that, on doing clusters and offsetting them to preserve the rural landscape.
Well, I've been
And it
bringing
kind
that
of,
up.
it kind of went away.
I've
Nobody
been
really
bringing
would
that up for
support
a
it.
long time because that's the way to preserve land.
Mhm.
Because usually a developer will buy, depending on what the density is. In our case, it was, I think it was, oh, I can't remember what it was right now. I'll think about it. But if a 50 acre, if you have a certain density, you might only be able to put in, let's say, 20 homes. A cluster of 20, but the rest of it remains
Right.
open. So, and everybody enjoys that open area. But the problem is, of course, sewer and water. And where I was, what a lot of the cluster homes did is they put their own sewers in and they had their own wells. Because in New Hampshire, there is no town water unless you're in town itself. So that's how they got around it.
Yeah, I mean, you could do that here. I mean, as long as there's enough water. I mean,
That's
you could
the other
do,
problem.
you can even cluster package plants and things,
Yeah.
for the sewer side.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, yeah, you can, I mean, 20 homes, they could build a sewer system in an area like that will contain 20 homes without too much of a problem. There's newer type of sewers that they have developed that will, contain that, as long as, of course, people don't leave their water running all day long and fill it. But the other problem here, in this particular area, is water. You can drill for a long time and you're not gonna hit water, and if you do, you're not really hitting any aquifers, you're just hitting whatever water is.
pockets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a big problem in itself. So any type of development would have to have some sort of water going to it.
especially with climate change and, well, the other piling, I think, is keeping our, I know we don't have aquifers here, but I think we're keeping our groundwater from being absorbed.
Yeah, it's because, and they've put in a lot of tiling in the last 2 years.
Yeah,
So last year they put in
Yeah,
hundreds of acres.
yeah,
I know around me, just about every field is tiled.
well, they're obviously not here only because when I make my regular cemetery runs, I go down through Odessa.
Yeah.
And just as you come into Odessa on 224, they had about 30 rolls or more, those big yellow rolls.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're all gone.
Yep. Well, they're telling all the land around here because. Yeah, the water, when it rains here like that other day when it rains, you can look out in the fields and you can see the puddles.
Yeah,
And that kills their crops. So the only way to avoid that, and it doesn't soak in,
but
tiling.
eventually soaking down to try and maintain what sort of water table we have in this town.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
It's gonna have a negative effect on that.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And every time you take any free area or brush area, you're gonna lose more because that's the only area the water actually soaks in.
Gets a
in
chance to
that
soak
area.
in instead of drying off again.
Right, yeah, or it sits on
Run
the
off,
field
yeah.
and it just goes
Right.
away.
So, no, I like this much better than the whole painted green that came out of 2009. I think this is certainly more functional for us to deal with from the planning board side. There's been some feedback out there where Indian, Fort goes into 227.
Yeah.
There are a number of big ag fields out there, but that's also where that city water line that goes to cars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That comes down South Street Extension, or actually both South Street Extension and Pennsylvania,
Uh-huh.
and then goes out South Street and then kind of angles. Doesn't exactly follow the road, cuts through the
We
fields
don't,
a little
you
bit.
didn't make a map of the water district, did you?
I didn't know, I didn't bring it
No,
with
it
me.
was here the other day, but.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, there's one you can look up, but it would have been nice if we.
yeah,
had
if
it.
I had it
Well,
here,
no,
But
if we
you
had
know,
it on this.
talk about like protecting that land out here.
yeah,
Nobody says they have to sell it, right? I mean,
Right.
it's,
Yeah.
you look at all these lots, these little lots used to be farm fields, right?
oh, yeah, they've
So
been,
nobody is forcing people to sell off
No,
individual development lots or development lots in Kent.
no, and they've been sold off, some of them for 20, 30, 40 years already out there.
yeah,
There's not been big new splits or anything like that, but they were done, for the current farmers, it was the parents and the grandparents or maybe great grandparents that sold it off already a long time ago. I haven't figured out in the tax maps, be able to figure out what the actual date was when this came into existence,
Right.
this certain tax number, but anyway, looking at like that 2012 water dish or wetlands map. Had all these fine little lines in there and that sort of stuff, so a lot of this stuff has been here, and I know when we did that dispensary, those folks that come in to talk to us,
yeah.
we're talking about being in their houses for 30 years already up there on Van Dorn
Yep,
Corners.
yep.
So a lot of this is not new development.
And remember, no matter what this map says, if somebody comes up and wants to do something, it's really up to the planning board to decide.
Within some,
Well, yeah,
within-
but I mean, within reason, but I'm just saying, if somebody comes up and I wanna put, a cluster in this area, but it's not designated as a cluster, then, it could be done.
Yeah,
but I think that's something as this goes forward, that needs to be written in.
Well,
I mean,
actually, the comp plan is a living plan. So anytime, let's say if we decide that, yes, this person wants to put a development here, but it's not designated for any type of housing, just maybe it's agricultural, but it hasn't been used in 100 years. The town board can actually put in a section into the comp plan. They can rewrite it. So it's a living.
Yeah, but the zoning has to change too unless.
Well,
it's
yeah, but
allowed.
I'm saying, that
Yeah.
would be up to, if we make a recommendation to the town board, then the town board would take it from there. If they want to do it, they would do it. But the comp plan would also be changed at the same time, or the maps would be.
But I think the option for cluster
Yeah,
and the design limits for that need to be written into.
well, they're
zoning,
ready,
especially
they're ready in our zoning now.
They're
Yeah,
pretty
not-
margin. They really, if you're really gonna do mixed density residential and you're gonna try to encourage development in those areas, then that has to be. An
well, that's
option in
gonna
there, a
come up,
really clear option.
when this is finished, the next thing is gonna be redo the zoning.
Mhm.
So at that point, then we can do something about that. Where we can rewrite and there's a lot of examples out there on cluster housing. Cause I read up about a few of them and, that would be our opportunity to change it at that time. So the zoning could be changed.
Yeah, cause the other version is like even smaller units, like 3, 4, 5 unit.
Yeah,
uh, Apartments or whatever you wanna call the building like that, to start getting
Garden
smaller, garden, those garden apartments are. That's like a European
Right.
version where you have the center courtyard and the
Yeah.
houses built around it like they did in Rome
Yeah.
and, you know. I don't-
where I lived in New York City, garden apartments were very popular.
Oh, okay,
They
well,
were everywhere. So after the war, that's what they built, garden apartments.
yeah.
Where I grew up, 3 houses every 800 acres.
Oh, really?
That's why I'm holding my foot.
Oh, okay. I know, it's nice to think about that, but unfortunately, it's not always.
Southern Minnesota had a few more houses around than that, but it was about every quarter mile there was one.
Yeah.
I grew up on Long Island.
Huh.
The village I grew up in had the same population as Ithaca, but without students.
What-
Not Ithaca without students,
What-
without students,
what
just
village?
Mineola.
Oh, of course, yeah, well, I'm from
Well,
Flushing.
well,
so-
yeah, but good, because when Mineola in the 20s, before the train, and when the train got going and everything,
Yeah.
train ran out to Mineola. Mineola had the largest county fair for the Long Island Fair was in Mineola, where the courthouses are now.
Right.
It was the biggest county fair in the country.
Yeah,
So you want to see how fast things can change, then,
yeah,
Yeah,
you know, if the development pressure is.
Oh, yeah. And everybody wanted to live out on the island because there was nothing out there. And the only way to get back and forth was only one road. And let me tell you, you don't want to be on that road.
yeah.
Now
That's
there's,
the way it was where I was.
I've been on it before where you just turn the car off and you just say, have lunch or something and wait.
You have the party line, the phone line.
Ugh.
Ours was 3 rings and neighbors was 2.
Yeah.
Gladys, get off the phone. It's clipping.
yeah. Yeah, that's what we had on the farm. We moved back on my mother's place in 1958.
Yeah.
It was still, we cranked it and there was like maybe 10 customers on that chunk of line. And
When they changed those phones out, did you use those old crank telephones for fishing?
no, but we put one in between the house and the barn. This is our own private little line in between there and when they buried the cables, then we talked to the phone company and we got about like 30 or 40 of their old poles that the wires used to be on and we used them to build a machine shed with and that. So,
They
yeah.
actually had party lines in New York City too. So I don't think they only.
Yeah, but except they were a ways back.
Yeah.
They weren't the 1950s. This is, but
On the medium density. They did say the recommended uses would be single detached dwellings. Should that be in medium density?
Is okay, so that means, well, it says less than 8, so 7 houses on an acre.
that's,
No,
which one
that's
is that?
they're talking about single detached dwelling units. So
Isn't
what
that
is
a
that?
house?
Yeah, that's a house.
Yeah, a house,
Could be a tiny house, but it's.
but
still a
that
house.
shouldn't be really in medium density,
No.
because that should be duplexes, townhouses, that type of thing.
if you're gonna get up there, yeah, cause there's no way you're gonna get that many sewer systems on
Yeah,
a per acre.
well, it's just here, it says recommended primary uses.
Yeah,
It should go down the end. So should ADUs. I think that ADUs is a dangerous term because it covers so many different things when you start talking about it in terms of land use, from second houses on the property to apartments to
Right.
converted garages
Yeah.
Right.
to whatever. And I mean, an ADU in a denser area probably should be an apartment, an apartment in a house and not a separate outdoor added structure. I mean, if you're building medium density residential, then it should be medium density residential, not plus an ADU.
Yeah. there's a big industry coming up with, converting cargo containers into tiny houses that look great,
Mhm.
take 2 or 3, so. For what, 30 grand, you put one in place?
Oh, what,
Like stacked
storage?
containers.
Yeah.
But-
Oh, they only cost about 3,000 a piece.
I know, but I mean, all out.
Converted,
Oh, oh,
converted to a
converted,
house,
okay.
yeah.
And then you still need plumbing and everything. for it.
Right.
The plumbing.
I guess it must be all exterior insulation in there, cause there's so little space inside.
Just,
Unfortunately, they do have a problem with that. Because the only way you can insulate those is by spray foam.
Right,
And if you spray foam steel that's on the outside, you get a lot of moisture.
On the inside,
Yeah.
condensing on
It
it.
has, and also in between,
Well,
it starts to get
the
moisture.
insulation.
Not a very good idea to do.
Yeah, unless you put it under a shed.
Yeah,
and then it's a trailer.
yeah, then you might as well
I mean,
just
and
build the
that's the
house.
I know, the whole thing is just,
Yeah.
It's,
yeah,
and it goes back to what I said about, manufactured houses too. Where if you're gonna do that, why not let somebody put a manufactured house in their yard? Because the new ones are pretty
Okay,
nice.
so
Yeah.
that's the question that you have to define, is what do you define as a manufactured home? Because a
government
lot of
defines it
people
for you.
say trailers are manufactured homes.
That's what it covers. It's not
And that, it shouldn't cover
it's
that.
not a prefab home. That's not a prefab factory built wood frame home. A trailer is a manufactured home
And that shouldn't
by
be allowed,
HUD.
right, and that shouldn't be
There's-
allowed anywhere really, unfortunately, because.
Well, it depends how you define a trailer. Because the new stuff, I'll tell you, I've been down in Hornell a lot lately.
Yeah,
And north of Hornell, by North Hornell,
yeah.
there is a mobile home park, to call it that.
Oh, I know which one you're talking about.
And it's all new units, and
Yeah.
it's actually pretty nice. I mean, it's better than
Now, are
putting
these,
people in a garage.
are these, when you say manufactured homes, are these double wides or singles?
Most
And-
of them look like they were doubles, but it did look like there was a few singles in there.
See, that's the problem with when you talk about manufactured homes, because that covers so much.
Mhm.
Where what you're talking about is a double wide is really a home.
Mhm.
Where I'm talking about a trailer where you hook it up and you can, take it with you.
So,
That's a trailer.
so HUD changed the regulations on them, so they no longer have to have wheels. They no longer have to have a
They have to be
steel,
on a foundation.
they have to, they don't, you could take a trailer and put it on, but these now have to be on a foundation.
Right,
You don't have to, the old regulations required that they have a steel frame that you could put wheels on and tow yourself someplace else.
right. They should
And
be on a
it needs to-
foundation. Yep. Because some of the manufactured homes today are gorgeous. I mean, I've been to a factory where they make them down in North Carolina. And the homes are built really well.
Anything that can travel over the highway to get delivered has gotta be pretty.
Well,
good.
yeah, they're in sections and, it takes them a day to put one together, really. It's not that hard for them to do. It takes about a month to complete one.
I'll tell you this, though,
What?
that. And then we gotta get back to topic.
Yes.
But the plumbing in those things is a whole different series of piping and everything
Oh,
than what's
yeah.
in a regular house.
Yeah.
So people come into Home Depot all the time and I'm like, I can't help you.
Mhm.
I can't get there from here.
Yeah, because they're using parts that are not American in most of them.
Well, they're using that gray,
Yeah,
Plastic.
Plastic,
Yeah,
right.
it's the
The
lighter,
black flexi stuff.
yeah. and
it's
the
a lighter weight
CPVC.
plastic than
Yeah.
the new PEX stuff
Right.
and all
Yeah,
that.
if they all ran
it's not
PEX, it'd
scheduled
be all
for
right.
80 or something, right?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, so I know the stuff that you're talking about.
Hmm.
And that's hard to get by.
All right, what's next? Move fast.
Yeah.
I moved.
I think lakeshore housing should be its own zone. And should not be low density residential.
Say that again, I'm sorry.
I think
Well, on,
the lakeshore
on
housing,
here, they bundled both the
Oh.
lake shore and the conservation zone into that medium density.
I agree
No,
with you,
it's-
they should be separate.
where low density, the lakeshore from regular low density.
Yeah,
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 because
it should be
Lakeshore is a
separate.
whole different ballgame.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, as a planning board, we know that every time somebody comes up from Lakeshore, there's a whole bunch of stuff that's different.
and rather than have any kind of a conservation district on it or anything, just straight into the zoning for it.
Yeah, and represented as that, both the conservation zone that's between the Black Diamond and 89,
Yeah.
essentially, because the town put a lot of effort in 2011, 12, and that sort of stuff, because they first come up as separate zones in the 2013 zoning.
Mhm.
The old 2007 zoning did not recognize the Lake Shore or Conservation District as a separate type of zoning. So between there is where it came in. And there was a lot of long-term discussion and stuff went into that, and I don't think we want to lose that. So it would probably be worth, the lake shore is easy, it's between 89 and the water.
Right.
And the conservation district goes essentially between the Black Diamond and 89.
Yep.
When you get up in the north end, it kind of branches off to like Willow Grove,
Willow
Creek
Yeah,
Road, I
yeah,
think.
my area is conservation.
But anyway,
Yeah.
it's clearly defined, and I think these yellow chunks predominantly along in here are the parts of the conservation district, because this is that one piece of farmland that went into the
Right.
ag
Yeah.
district last year,
Yeah.
that U-shaped one up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do we want to put together any specific comments to feed directly to the steering committee, out of this? And I'm certainly willing to, write it in and pass it on, or you guys can certainly do that, however you would like to do it. I think this last point about the lake shore and the conservation district is definitely worth, feeding in.
And also, I think on that one section, if I can find it again. On the medium density, single homes are not a medium density.
Yes, that should
Right.
go away.
Yeah, that one item has to go away. Let's see if I can find the actual page so I can, well, I said it a minute ago.
For me, it's page 37.
37, was it?
Well,
See.
that would at least get you in the general vicinity.
Well, then that's.
Like Neil had his hand up.
Yep. Niels, we've been ignoring you.
Just speak up.
He's muted.
Oh, do I have to unmute him?
He's got a
If you
little.
could, if you could
red
get him
light.
in here, we'd certainly like to have him.
There you go.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can
Yeah.
hear you now.
Awesome. Okay. Unfortunately though, I think because of our attacks, I can't put on my camera yet, but just a couple things. So been making notes. What I heard from Jeff, his first comment was that maybe allowing for some more commercial in some areas. So one of the things that the zoning code can do, what I'm hoping for when the town gets to this point of redoing the zoning code, is allow for various neighborhood commercial things that the town planning board can do as either a special use permit or a conditional use permit, for example, allowing like a small grocery store or something like that, right? In those little nodes. So I think that's definitely a good thing that I'm hoping the town will take into consideration. For Jeff's last comment on the lake shore. So just please keep in mind that land use, like the land use map, is different from the zoning map. And so the single low density residential along the lake shore, the primary use is residence, right? Where we start getting concerned about protection of steep slopes and things along the lake shore, that comes under zoning code. And so there's no limit to the amount of zones that can correlate to a land use designation. So for example, something that has a land use designation in the future land use map of low density to residential can have a lakeshore zone. It can have a conservation zone. It can have, say, an R1 zone, and each of them can have their own development regulations. I'm not exactly thrilled with that. I prefer what's more been a trend for at least 10 to 20 years now in zoning is to do overlays. So you have one zone, like an R1 zone, but then if you're in the lakeshore zone, it would have an overlay specific to protection for the lake, steep slopes and things like that. And that all that stuff gets fleshed out in the zoning code update, hopefully. And then the last thing that I heard, at least for now, I think it was Mo, maybe it was Jeff, about no single family detached units in medium density. The concern there would be if you had an applicant come in to do either probably like a cluster sub, or there's also been a trend to do what's called no lot or small lot development, where essentially you have a cluster sub with homes that take up almost the entirety of their own individual lot. And then there's a larger tract or separate tracts for their community open space. And the best example, I think, of something like that is just south of Jacksonville. It's the Jacksonville Heights Townhome. And the owner was able to do that right before the town changed the zoning code. But if you go in there and if you're driving down, it's on the east side of 96. It's a great example of what that medium density residential is aiming to get for. There's 7 separate structures of duplexes, so there's 14 dwelling units in there. But if you're just driving down the road, you really wouldn't tell, you have that much density back there. So my concern,
On how much acreage? Neil?
They're pretty tight. That's the one just north of the mobile home park, right?
Is that Glen Trudell stuff?
Yes.
Okay.
it's a bit north of the mobile home. So it's just south of the hamlet, just south of Coal Grove Road.
That's the one listed as Jacksonville Townhomes or something like that.
Yeah, Jacksonville Heights.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll have to drive back in there. I thought they were just big single family homes. A piece of the town I haven't been to.
You don't see it at 50 miles per hour. So.
Yeah, well, I often deliberately go snooping, but I just kind of glanced up the road and saw a couple buildings, thought they were just big houses back there. but-
Yeah, I didn't see them either. I have to go look at them.
Yeah,
Okay, so say that again in terms so that the kindergartner and me understands it, Neil.
Okay, which one?
About the medium density.
The single family homes in the medium density.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great concept, and I think in general, I would agree that medium density might not want to consider single detached dwelling units, but just be cognizant if that carries out, then you might have issues if someone wants to come in to do a cluster sub there, because those would be
Good.
single detached dwelling units.
Could we add something like single, but multifamily?
Single family homes in clusters
Like
or some
clusters?
other. So it's not just single family.
Large
Well,
lots.
Family
Yeah.
homes, like duplexes, well,
Well, that's in there.
yeah, that's in there already, yeah.
So it's how do you make it so it's single family homes that aren't single family homes on suburban lots? Although
I don't understand
my suburban lot
why.
growing up was
But-
10 feet wider than that. So.
Yeah. I moved out here, Niels, so that I didn't have to reach out my living room window and touch the fence between me and the neighbor.
Me too.
Same, and that's what we're talking about here. 8 homes of any decent size on 1 acre.
But it's not the whole town. I mean, one of the big things in the plan is that we're looking at alternative kinds of housing to increase the affordability and make the town more livable for other people.
because that was consistently, every public engagement we went to was to, how do we get more affordable housing in here? And big individual lots, so you got 200 feet between you and the neighbor. Fits people that can afford it and that sort of stuff, but for an awful lot of folks,
Yeah,
there's very little in this town, a place you could live that, and unless we allow more of these, duplexes or condos or apartments or something, we're essentially financially forcing out
Yeah.
a lot of folks. And so that's really a major, all the public engagement, if you get really bored and go to the end of that, where they have all the comments and that sort of stuff, that was consistently everywhere we went. That we needed what they refer to in here as this sort of missing middle housing, the
Yeah.
multiple units where you can bring the individual price down.
And the Ithaca area is expensive. I mean, rents are ridiculous
It is.
Yeah,
as it is now, and they're better than they were in terms that there's more good units available in the moderate level
Mhm.
than there was 10 years ago. But I mean, if you look at us compared to Hornell houses 80,000, 120,000, 150 and down inside the city, and Ithaca area is at least double that.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Alright. Yuma, Arizona.
Yes.
Alright, where are we at?
So on a single, no, on the single, you wanna put something like single cluster
No,
detached dwellings?
Nils, can you come up with language for that would allow what you were talking about, but discourage individual single family lots? Suburban lots? Could you do a maximum lot size that would?
So we're just
Cover-
talking the medium density, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think where you're going, Jeff, might work where you're saying, let me go back to the definition here.
I mean, single family homes on less than an eighth of an acre.
Oh, God.
I'm gonna drive Bart crazy.
How does that keep up with the ambiance, if you will?
It's not, it's different.
So,
yeah.
so maybe
But the whole
just,
town can't be, I mean, you can't, right now, I mean, the town with the zoning and the way development has happened.
Mhm.
There's no low income or moderate. I mean, it's almost exclusionary zone.
Low income here is like starting at 350.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so you may say something like single family detached only in cluster subs. So,
Mhm.
I mean, but the cluster subdivision regulations really need a lot of work, but in there, the currently the planning board, you have the authority to make lots as small as you want currently. So I think that would get you where you're looking for.
Okay. Well, thank you, Neil.
Thanks, Neil.
yeah, yesterday I went up to visit, I was up there in Lansing, actually, Cuba Heights, north of 13, but up there anyhow, right where Cuba Heights comes into
So they let you
34
drive
going up
through
there.
that?
Well, no, I was up there because I was visiting a hospice care patient.
Yeah.
And they have like 40 or 50 homes up there that are in groups of 6.
Yeah,
And they're clustered, each, there's 2 houses together,
yeah,
but there's the 3 sides open and they come in off the street like that.
yeah.
And the next time I gotta take him hiking on Friday. This guy's in his 80s, but he still wants to hike and that sort of stuff. So as a volunteer, I'm gonna go with him.
Oh,
But anyway, this group of 6 houses, I need to ask him some more about this because
take
that's,
the picture if you can.
yeah,
So we can see. what it
because I
looks
went
like.
up the street up there. It's right after I came up the hill and then you cross over the extension of where the mall is,
Trip hammer?
Trip Hammer Road. And then this other the road changes names and you start up through,
Mm.
is running, the water towers are right there on Trip Hammer, and just above them is this whole, like a quarter mile's worth. There's maybe 40 or 50 of these homes in groups of 6 like that up there.
Hmm.
And I gotta find out, is this senior housing? Is this just the way they develop, but they are in groups of 6? And I need to ask,
There's a
are
couple
they,
of landlords up there that are building duplexes and clusters.
yeah,
Yeah,
One of my wife's friends lives in them, and they're pretty nice. I mean, they're not.
yeah,
really,
his
but
is a
for a
nice
place to live, it's-
single story house and that sort of stuff. Each one has a garage and the 2 are together like that, but I'll take a photo of that, but then do some more digging into it or ask him somehow. It's, how are the yeah, I saw water, I saw a fire hydrant coming up the street, so there must be at least water.
Right.
But I don't know that there's sewer up in there, and I'd be curious to ask him that maybe the 6 of them use a common unit or something like that, but, I go, well, that's an interesting way of doing it, you know, particularly we talk about senior housing to allow the seniors to move in off the farms and that.
Are you talking about up on Horizon Drive?
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, I see that. That's cool. They have to use, communal shower, I'm sure, but
No.
no, they're nice individual houses. I was
Yes,
inside of
yeah,
his
that's-
up there, but
yeah.
Yep.
but they're in groups of 6
Yeah.
houses.
Uh-huh.
Now, chances are they probably have like a central sewer that they.
System or something, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm gonna ask him a few funny questions and that, because when I looked at this and I go, it's an interesting design for how you could put this together. And it's already in the area being used.
They have a water tank there.
Yeah, the water tanks are right down there by,
Yeah.
Trip Hammer Road.
Well, I think it's on the high spot.
Well, this is still going up the hill from those water tanks.
Well, yeah, but that's feeding
Yeah.
the lower section.
Right.
Okay, what's next? Oh, I thought battle, fine, whatever.
Nils, what's in like the medium density residential? There's area undeveloped by buildings has got to be greater than 50%. That, when you're looking for density, to me, seems like a lot.
What?
In the medium density residential.
Yeah.
The very last thing is area undeveloped by buildings is 50% or more
Of the,
of the
Of
lot
the acreage that you're,
developing,
Which-
which to
which
me,
brings up the question, 8 single-family homes on an acre, but 50% of it has to be undeveloped.
well,
Yeah, so Jeff, that comes along with the undefined term of open space, which,
yeah,
yeah. So the concept is to try to preserve open space at least as a ideal, right? And then again, that would get fleshed out in the zoning code, but the concept would be in some measure to try to preserve open space.
so it really is pushing the cluster development version, right? Where the buildings or townhomes or whatever you're doing are packed right tight together. And then the rest of this area that was divided up. But if you're talking on 1 acre of ground, that's not much of a piece of land.
Yeah, and again, remember, I mean, until any sewage goes out there, which I don't see that coming in the next 10 to 20 years, the county has strict standards of how small a lot can be. So if if a parcel is on municipal water, it's possible to go down to 1 dwelling unit to 1/4 of an acre, but that site has to be engineered. There's a really good example though. I can send it to you guys. I got it from I think it's named Scott Freiberger, I think from County Whole Health, of a apartment complex that was done where they had a shared septic. So I mean, just keep in mind that there's only so small we can get really at this time.
without
Right,
without
Yeah,
water,
without
so-
sewer.
yeah.
Well, the lake isn't that far away. So I had a question too, Nils, on trails and things. I mean, there's discussion on, pedestrian friendly, encouraging bikes, etc. And I know a lot of that would need to get written into the actual development regs. Should there be anything tied to the future land use plan that shows how the developments on here would, be connected by trails to some of the centers?
Only if it was to be a designated, what I would say, community owned or government owned, like the Black Diamond Trail. That we have designated or should be designated as green. But if it's individual, no, I would not recommend something like that. That level, not that it's minutia, but I wouldn't say that that would be appropriate in a future land use map. It would be great, however, in a subplan, if you will, for community well-being or for transportation, one of the two, or maybe both, for tying in the county's bike plan and designating certain roads that should be or ought to be considered to be more safe for pedestrians and bicyclists with striping and all that sort of stuff. So I could see something like that happening in one of those two chapters eventually, if that makes sense.
I'm just thinking, and I know it's early, but I'm just thinking as this rolls from, this towards zoning, how do you write it in? Because most of the roads around here and most of the right of ways are probably too narrow to effectively fit pedestrian and separate bike lanes. And I mean, to try to widen some of the roads to fit that would be really tough with the way the ditches and the drainage is.
Yeah, there would be a definite need for both additional funding in your CIP and your TIP to get something like that there, definitely.
Just talk about building bypass around.
That's never gonna happen.
The conversation one time with DOT about building a bypass around Watkins Glen, and then Walmart got built. And we're thinking about splitting it, but the problem is with a lot of places when you got to come back and
I
you're
know,
still in the
I
same
know.
mess when you get back.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I know. And that's, you're talking about the ditches and all that, narrow these roads are, that's one of the problems with trying to lay pipe back water lines and sewer and all.
Unless you come right up under the road,
Right,
like they do in the city, they all that stuff is right under the streets.
right.
In a lot of countries, it's under the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just so happen to put them on telephone poles.
Yeah.
Well, actually, no, they're starting to put things underground.
Utilities and that sort of stuff.
Well, I worked for a planning commission, like the southern part of New Hampshire. And we were bringing up a data line from Boston area coming up. And that went up in between the medium of the highway. They drilled and then would come up, drill and go up, and they were putting data line and went all the way up north. I was surprised that they were doing it that way, but all that was underground.
it's easy.
I know it is.
Directional
Now it
drilling
is.
is so
Yeah,
easy now.
Now it is, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what they were doing.
So same thing on industrial as commercial. There's no new industrial areas on this map, is there?
Well, the current FLUM has no industrial land use designation. Or sorry, the current FLUM, the 2009 comp plan, does not have any land use designation of industrial on it.
Yeah, there's no real place in Ulysses to put in an industrial park.
Well, but what it lists is pretty much things like stovers, I mean lumber yards, commercial composting,
Yeah.
which is shown as industrial. Boat and automotive repair and storage yards. And some of the existing
Yeah,
These old
existing
places
DD.
are not
Yeah.
going, yeah, the
Yeah.
DDs, some of the ones that are boat shops are gone.
So
Not really.
under industrial, I do have, we've talked about this before. I don't know whether you put it under design considerations or whatever, but looking at the. Well, data centers, what if a data center said we want to move in here? How do we stop them from using the water, right?
Well, first they have to get to the water,
Right.
and there
but
is no place on this, where we are right now.
I understand that.
Yeah.
But if we're talking about this, let's talk about it, now, let's deal with it now instead of waiting until the possibility.
Well, they would first have to be able to get land on the lake, and it's all sold. The only place that they can do it would be like at the park. There is no other spot.
Right.
So, but that. Data centers usually don't build, they take over old power stations because everything is there for them. Well, that's why they're taking the one over in Lansing.
I understand that,
Yeah,
but, down in Georgia, they're building. Out in New Mexico, they're building. In Arizona, they're building. In West Texas, they're building.
Are they tying right into city water and that sort of stuff
I
to
don't-
feed the cooling tower?
Yeah, I don't know,
But
I
they
don't
will-
know
the
that.
city water-
There are some big.
We had that
aquifers out
article
west.
on the one down south where they sucked the water out from under
Right
that
out from,
family's
yeah,
house.
Yeah. Cause they put in wells to pull it and that sort of stuff, but.
right.
well, it wouldn't be under design considerations, it would have to be
Yeah.
recommended primary uses, light industrial, light manufacturing, or assembly.
They'll go in Seneca County anyway.
Huh?
They'll build it in Seneca County anyway.
Yeah. But I mean, there's nothing here that says, that a data center would be able to go in. It just recommended primary uses. If a data center came in, we'll say recommended primary uses in industrial. Doesn't have anything about data centers, so they couldn't do it. I would get rid of the junkyards though.
Please,
There's an existing one though.
huh?
I know.
There's an existing one.
There's actually two of them, I think.
Yeah,
There's that one on 96 and then out here on Brook Road,
Brook
there's a
Road.
tiny little one out there. Apparently
oh,
that's
that's not
another one.
tiny,
It isn't?
no. Look at the satellite image that, especially, was it 2 or 3 years ago? For days, they were hauling old Studebakers into there, days.
Hauling them in?
Yeah.
Parts.
Yep,
He's surprised. I had some guy stop me one time to ask where they were. He couldn't find it. He was driving around. This is like 15 years ago. He was looking.
Oh, some
for-
junkyards are really exceptional when it comes to walk in. It's not a junkyard.
Yeah.
It's a
Now-
parts department.
right. Now you drive down there with the leaves off the trees, just look out in the
I'll
woods.
have to do that. I tried to look the other day when I was driving around, but I got on Indian, Fort instead. I didn't go the other way down Waterburg to get to
Yeah,
the entrance to get on the Brook Road.
Yeah.
I've been across it at least once, because
So
I've.
to
Take
answer
a
your
drive.
question about data centers,
Mhm.
it's nothing listed here because they have examples of the industrial area. So data center is an example. It's not recommended either, so I wouldn't worry about it.
Well.
I lose sleep at night. I wake up at 3 in the morning. What if they put a data center in there?
And can,
Well, that would be a part of zoning, not a part of this.
Okay.
We don't say something like no data center, that would be in the zoning. Where if we took industrial, we would say this, but nothing else.
And I don't know that you can specifically exclude businesses like that when you list it even in zoning.
Well, I think you can deter it, let's put it that way.
you have to allow it someplace. I mean, it's hard not to unless it's
Yeah.
some kind of extractive thing.
No,
You'd
I
have to
don't
do it
like
based on.
hours. Like, I don't understand that thinking, Jeff. I'm sorry, I don't. I'm not, no disrespect
Well,
to you, but
exclusionary
to.
zoning, I'm not sure how well that's gonna stand up.
All you can do is deter it, but you can't say no.
okay,
It's like adult bookstores.
they still have such a thing.
Oh, yeah,
They're in zoning.
yeah, it's in zoning.
Let's move on.
Yes, anyway.
That section
yeah.
where. Don't want to read it, but And can change the color for public and infrastructure?
Change the
It's,
color.
it's bad enough being a civil servant, but having your workplace identified in gray
It's
is
gray. Well, hey, at least they put the ag under that, what is it, that government green, right? So what color do you want, Jeff?
I don't know, just not
Yeah,
gray.
you can't just
Not just green.
bring up no
Like-
solutions.
Yeah, I know,
Racker
purple,
Center.
would you like purple?
We're, that's in.
Purple's industrial.
Oh, yeah, purple already.
Yeah.
I think industrial should be gray and government should be. purple.
Actually, yeah, okay, that's all right.
I think
About
that makes more
taupe.
sense.
What is taupe anyway?
It's like a off kind of,
Off tan.
instead of the beige, it's a little more
Oh.
gray version of beige.
Okay. Cause you have to. you
Almost
have to
like
know
your
this,
jacket.
too. My girlfriend, my ex-girlfriend would hear, she'd be like, well, that has to pick up that color over there, as she goes, no, it doesn't.
Blend in.
Right.
Yeah, okay, right.
Sorry.
Well, we're trying not to blend in. Yes.
Copper. Copper.
Gold
He
leaf.
wants copper colored for the, yeah, anyway, next.
I think in general, it's, I mean, we're in details now, but I think in general, it's pretty friggin' good. Am I
Yeah,
allowed to say that?
Yeah,
there was some feedback from one or two steering committee members about using the GIS data, which brings it up in, parcel view rather than the old kind of amorphous blob type arrangement.
Mhm.
But with modern electronics, everything comes up in parcel view anyway. So
right,
I think just accepting the way technology has changed and deal with it in parcel view.
right.
Well, yeah,
we
and
get-
you don't want half your property zoned one thing and half your parcel zoned the other thing.
Yeah.
Not really.
It's not. Unless it's a really big parcel.
Could be like that one we divided on Palace Lane where the town and the village went through the, at an area.
That was an interesting one.
Yeah, well,
Poor devil, trying to divide that.
we get any feedback on that last memorandum we sent them?
For the streams,
Yes.
I don't think the town has looked at it yet.
Okay.
Oh, Niels, one thing I forgot on that was to go ahead and include both a copy of our planning board questions and Nate's response to them with it as a package. So that at least makes sense. Otherwise, I think the town board's gonna look at it and probably go, what's this about?
Oh, yeah, we put that at the back of the memo or attached to the memo. So Carissa
Okay.
has, they have all
Has it
that.
all together?
Yep.
Thank you. You got your hand up for something else there?
Oh, no, that's not.
Oh, that's
the
not it.
cursor.
Okay.
Oh.
All right. I just want to make sure we weren't ignoring him. Oh, that's just the mouse up there. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I expect until this comp plan is done, we probably won't hear much back from the town on that, and more likely it'll be a January, February timeframe before we really, they take time to get into it.
I don't expect we're gonna have a lot of business this winter, do you?
No, Niels, is there anything for our next meeting in October here, or should we just cancel that?
So-
November?
Yeah,
Or
we're in,
November? Yeah.
we're in November.
Yeah.
We're trying to go backwards.
Yes.
I sent you an email, maybe it got lost, right before the agenda stuff for today. We have Paula McGuire's team is ready to go on their final plat. They'd like to be on the 18th. That's
Okay.
the only thing.
That's the McGuire, where they wanna take the old church and convert it into
Oh, I
a
thought that
community
was
center.
all done already.
Well, I think we have to make a final,
Yeah.
now that they're done with the BZA and everything else
Right.
and that,
Right.
But
I think.
at the time when they were here, they said they needed the approval to get the building permit so they can do everything. So they didn't do anything yet? You mean
No.
it's still? Really?
Well, then let's just plan on doing that meeting and we'll take care of it so they can move on.
Yeah,
Oh, I thought it was all done
I
already.
kind
Yeah.
of, now you bring that up, yeah.
Oh, that's the 18th. That's that meeting down in
Oh, yeah, that day down in Binghamton.
And I
Are
was
you
thinking
going?
about it, I was
I'm
thinking
thinking
about
about going to that one too.
because that's 7 hours or something, takes
Yeah.
care of 2 years.
That's the housing development.
Yeah. Are you staying here or not?
I don't know yet.
Oh,
You going?
I figured I wouldn't.
Well, you already covered.
Yeah, I've
your-
got enough with last year I went to one of those conferences and then I did that 2 hour one with the county here. A couple weeks or in October there, so.
Mhm.
We'll have to see.
Well, as long as we've got 3 board members around, we could do it and this we've all looked at before. I would have
Yeah,
no
it's not-
problem
nothing
signing
changed.
off on that. Yeah.
Nothing changed, did it, Neil? Neil?
No, and the BZA granted the variances. And during that hearing, there wasn't any public comment
Oh, okay.
against it either. So
Okay,
Yeah, yeah, as long as we got 3 members to cover it, but otherwise we'd have to. Try and find a different day to hold our meeting so everybody could go to training. So if you decide to go, Jeff, we'll figure out how to get around it somehow.
well, might make it back, it's not, I don't think it's probably,
Driving, they get done about 4 o'clock and trying to drive up from Binghamton, well,
It'll be snow.
you'd be
It's
here,
that
but
close.
yeah.
It's Binghamton. It'll snow. It'll
Yeah.
be at least part
Yeah,
way.
not that.
Anyway, just, but yeah, definitely go to the training if you're interested. I looked at it, considered it, but then I'm trying to get my house project done down in Ithaca, so I decided
Yeah.
I would stay here and work on that.
Just trying to get everything done.
Yeah.
Anything else then?
No, not on this one.
Jump into any other areas or call it a night?
Butt's gonna go to Little Venice and drink. Because of the overdevelopment.
I should have brought my chip for Little Venice along to give to him. We got one night when I was there with my daughter and son-in-law. I have no idea what you do with it.
Where you drink anymore?
Except coffee.
Yeah, well, actually, is the recording still going?
Yeah,
Okay.
Just-
So I get up in the morning at like 5:30 or 6 and drink a pot of tea. Then if I go there, I bring my own coffee. Theirs is so bad. It's bad. Anyway,
well, and are we ready to adjourn?
come on. make a
Oh,
motion.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Hi,
All in favor? All right. Thank you.
Yep.
yeah, thanks, Neil.
thanks, guys.